Well, when I became involved, I had no idea that I'd be sitting here today talking about the early days of the Affordable Housing Group. I didn't plan it, didn't look forward to it. That was back in the middle 60s. A lot of people who were earning a salary were paying 40% of what they earned for housing. That was not safe, not sanitary, wasn't decent. And that is still the case in this state.
Now, I am one of 17 children, so I know what it means to live in substandard housing and know what it means to have a lack of opportunity. And I came to understand while working, coming on the board of the Affordable Housing Group, how transformative housing could be.
I visited people, particularly one senior lady that I remember in Goldsboro that moved into our apartments. She was living in the middle of a tobacco field, and the house had no running water, no electricity, and the floor had holes in it. I mean, I walked in and almost fell through the floor. And this is a woman that was in her late 70s and barely getting by.
People need to know where they're sleeping at night. In the 60s, the overall condition of housing for the poor was deplorable.
If a person is willing to get up and go to work every day, they should make enough money to be able to afford. But I think that's a responsibility for society to provide that opportunity.
Housing won't solve poverty, but you can't solve poverty without housing. I think the impact of what we've been able to accomplish is very hard to measure, but if you look at Rich Park as an example that was placed in service in 1968, it's 100 units. So that's 100 units of housing for 50 years. You think about the number of families that have moved through there. That's a big deal.
We began to see the impact early on because of what I refer to as the hills and valleys of the experience of the Affordable Housing Group.
We're lucky enough to develop properties from the mountains to the coast. I've had so many of these folks come up and cry, literally, and hug me, and it's like, it's okay, you can let go now. I understand, but it's very heartfelt when they come and say thank you. You see tears in their eyes. It brings tears to my eyes every time I think about it. It just being able to help people like that, it's worth its weight in gold. I was very fortunate to be able to do that.
Home is where your family is.
This is my home. This is a #1 place to be. I wouldn't go anywhere else. And trust me, my daughter looks lots of places and she's, Mom, don't even bother. Just go there. If they'll have you, just go there.
I was living on my car. I lived it in the summertime and the wintertime. I got in here and I said, oh my goodness gracious, I can take a shower. I can watch TV, I can fix something to eat. That was unreal.
I feel like I belong. I feel appreciated.
Everybody's been so nice, and they love for me to bake them cakes. I told them I'd bake cakes, because I like to do things for people.
The people who live here take so much pride in their surroundings, and that's home. That's how we all feel about home. We're proud of where we live and we want to maintain it.
I just want to thank everyone who helped me. It's very emotional because it was hard.
I moved into the bungalows on December 15th, 2000. I had just had breast cancer surgery.
This has been my blessing here. This place is wonderful.
We don't build housing that we ourselves would not live in. We're sitting here today in a LEED certified apartment complex in the middle of a community with $300,000 and $400,000 houses. We build housing that is not low-income housing, it is market rate housing. The difference is that we offer it to the people who cannot afford the higher rent. We offer it to them at a discounted rate.
If we've learned anything in the past 50 years, it's that we can't do this work alone. We are so excited to announce that our new name is the Mosaic Development Group.
It speaks to all of the pieces that we're putting together now to go forward in the state of North Carolina to be the premier development group across this state that is concerned about the development of communities. And if we had $1 billion today, we could spend it in North Carolina building houses for people who are deserving of that housing because of the sacrifices that they have made for our state and our country.
For the past 50 years, we've developed thousands of housing units. And in those units that we've developed, over 22,500 families have moved through our properties. There's always something new. There's always a new community that needs the product that we deliver. There's always a family that can benefit from what we do.
See, I've come to believe that if you can do something that improves the lives of people who need it, you've done the other part of what you're supposed to do with life. That help make it possible for other people to enjoy some of their lives.